Hello, welcome to Southern Skull Fishing. I'm Greg. Today, I'm making some Frankenstein plastics. What I do is I save all the plastics that I use that get torn up, get bit up. I save them and come home and make Frankenstein plastics. Because nobody can afford to buy plastics indefinitely. So, I do it as a challenge, just to see what some of these bass are going to do. Well, today, we've got a few here I'm going to put together, and I'll talk us through it, and I want your input. Let me know which ones you think might actually catch fish. I mean, I'm not expecting much, but waste not, want not, and we're having a good time. So let's start putting some of these together. I've got a front part of a rage swimmer and back part of a fluke. So let's see what we can do with these. I use a flat iron, melt it up a little bit. Everything good and melted, and then stick them together and let them cool for a second. They're stuck together. Now I can come back melt the side, put that in a little tighter. Melt this side. Ooh, hot. Be careful. Any of the younger people that follow me might want adult supervision with this. Don't try it at home. It'll burn you. My old fingers just don't feel it much anymore. That together. Sometimes they're real easy to do, sometimes they're not. Oh, there we go. That melted a little too much. So you gotta be careful. Timing is everything. We'll let that one sit for a little bit. Now we're gonna go with a rage tail and a craw head. So let's see what we can do with this one. This time we're going to use the Guggen pliers. They come in handy on a lot of things, but I can do it this way. Put the pliers in. I'm going to burn myself. Imagine that. And then stick it together. Now it does create a pretty pungent smell. So you have to have some decent ventilation. Otherwise your wife's going to complain about you doing this. Well, as mine does. Here's another one down. This is one I finished as this was warming up to make sure it was good and warm. Part of a rage tail, and then just a little bit of a chartreuse tail on that one. That's going to be good for a small jig. The little tightrope jigs I got from Shop Carl's. Do a lot of shopping at Shop Carl's. Where I live in Selma, Alabama. And I will be doing some scenes on the river out here underneath the bridge. But I go for them because I've got a Walmart here that has little, if anything. So I do a lot of shopping through them, and I'm not sponsored by anybody at the moment. Which, if you like what you see and you want to sponsor me with some stuff, let me know. But we're going to do what I got to do for now and order from them. Because I love Shop Carl's. I get the Mystery Tackle Box Elite. And I will be doing unboxings when I get them and be posting those. So pay attention. If you're watching on my Instagram channel, pay attention. I will be doing unboxings on there also. I might even go live. But I've got to do some content for my YouTube channel. But yeah, I decided to start my YouTube channel, and it started snowing in Texas and getting really, really cold here. We got a little bit of ice and just a tease of snow here. Nothing stuck to the ground, but that's the fun part about living in middle Alabama. Get a little bit of cool, not a whole lot. Okay, that one finished up. That one might be actually good on a Ned rig or swim bait. Keep that one. Let's go with the bottom of a lizard and a head of a fluke. Let's see what we can do with this one. But the weather has been really putting a crimp in my style when I started to start my YouTube account, and then the weather just drops out because me and my partner, my fishing buddy, my son Robert, which he will be on from time to time. He's mainly going to be my cameraman. But we went out, and this was in late January. It had gotten really warm, and we had the best fishing day of our lives. He caught close to 20 bass, but he was using a rage tail swimmer, white rage tail swimmer, like the ones I've been using here. That's why we have so many of these broken ones. But we use those. He used it on weightless, Texas rig weightless, and I had it on a Guggen Zinger, a little bit larger profile. I caught about 13 that day. He caught 19. Mine were a little larger than his. I went with a larger profile, but we had an amazing day. We caught both, broke our PBs multiple times that day, and wound it up with our new PBs, and which I have posted. You can go check them out. And from every time we break a PB, it will be posted. That is just some fun stuff. Okay, that's what that one turned out like. That would be good on a small jig. And which one would go next? Okay, I've got a little swim bait here. And I'm going to put a ray tail on the back of this little swim bait. See what it does. You never know. I've made homemade lures. I make my own homemade lures, hand painted, and I am no Picasso. I'm more like a 4-year-old that just learned how to pick up colors. But from time to time, I do get one to bite on it. I have one right here. This one here, I've already taken the hooks off of it. I use it for practice throwing lures. It's a good weight. But I caught a 2.5 pound on this one topwater. It worked very well. First time I used it. And I have since used some other ones, and they have worked well also. But I mean, bass are usually into movement more than anything. And I prefer topwater. So I make my topwaters. I am notorious for losing them in trees and brush. I lose so many that I decided I'm just going to start making some of my own and not spending high dollar on something I'm just going to throw in and get stuck in a tree anyway. So I make my own, and I will be doing videos on homemade lures, videos on lures that subscribers have gotten for me. I subscribe to several small independent bait companies that make their own lures, and I'm going to be getting some from several of them, and I will showcase them. And I'm going to pay for them. They're not going to be given to me, but I will showcase them because I like to do things like that. And finished up with that one. That one might get interesting. Yes, what we're going to do with a little fire and ice piece of a culprit. Fire and ice. We're going to put it on the tail of a swim bait. See how this works out. These are small. I'm going to burn myself. So back to the It's for old flat iron. I picked up at the flea market for like $2. Works quite well. Although it does get hot. Extremely hot. So you have to be careful. Stick it on there, maybe it'll hold this time. Nope. What the heck am I doing wrong with this one? Here we go. I just wasn't being patient enough to let that cool and do the other side. And then we're going to do this last one. The front of a craw. This one, the front tip of a one from Shop Carl's. Catch coat. And then another front of a Rage swimmer. We were using the Rage swimmers, and they were lighting them up. I have never had fish bite like that before in my life. They were hitting on school and shad, schooling them up, and you could see the shad all flashing all over the water. And all we had to do was just keep following them, and we just kept catching them. We did all that in about 2 hours. That was one of the funnest days of my life fishing. And hopefully this spring is going to bring more. What? Careful. He's not wanting to play the game today. It still being cold is not helping much. I don't have much heat out here in my shop. Which I will have that rectified by next winter. The spring will be here soon, and I have to run the air conditioning. For those here in the South, we may only get 3 or 4 cold days or weeks in the South. And like this year, was plenty warm for the most part up until February. So we had a really great fishing season this winter. I have caught a lot of bass this winter so far. But due to my health issues, I don't get a chance to fish as much as I would like. I do have major health issues, hence the name Southern Skull Fishing. I had an aneurysm, brain bleed, and stroke back in August of 2019. And I had a big portion of my skull removed. It is still out because I was going to put it back in around March of 2020. Well, we all know what happened in March of 2020. The whole world shut down. And I haven't had it put back in since. But, with that being said, I am disabled. And I am a United States Navy vet. So I am a disabled veteran. Or a veteran that is disabled, however you want to label it. I didn't get disabled due to a military service. I think it was more as a veteran who is now disabled instead of a disabled veteran. Semantics, but don't want any stolen valor or anything. Because I did not get injured while I was in the service. A lot of mine comes from a lot of hard work, trying to provide for my family. And that one ended up okay. That worked good on a jig. We'll get back to this line, check them out, make sure everything's stuck where I wanted it to. But I appreciate you watching my show. I'm just getting started. This is my very first official video. And I'm going to see how it is well taken. I'm only doing this on my iPhone right now. I haven't had a chance to get GoPros. They're going to be We'll be getting them soon. And then I'll have GoPros to go from there. But till the time being, we'll have to deal with what I got. Alright, that one. Okay. A little bit more on this one. This should just about do it. And then I'm going to take these and I'm going to show you some more I've already made. And I want some feedback. Let me know which ones I should be using, which ones you think are going to work well, and I will make a composite of those and use those and see what we can do. And then I have ones for Ned rigs. I have some for jigs, small jigs, large jigs, Texas rigs. Let's see. Actually, the ones I have today is this white and green craw type thing. Part lizard, part, what is that? Fluke. Part fluke, part rage tail. Oops, camera's on the other side. Then part rage tail with a worm tail. Then I've got part rage tail, part fluke. Part craw, part rage tail. And then of course the fire and ice with a little fish tail on it. And then the fish head with a rage tail. Those are the ones I make today. Leave comments, let me know which ones you think would do well. Then I have a part lizard, and I can't remember the name of this at the moment right off the top of my head. But that one's going to be on a Texas rig. Now my son Robert, which you will see him in later videos. He works at at another job, his real job, and he's not with me all the time. I have my other son Grayson, who will be time to time, but he's going to stay behind the scenes more with creativity in the editing department. Right now I'm doing it all. They're working. But then I have this one, which is a black and blue craw with a black and blue wormtail and a fire and ice wormtail. This one would go good on a jig. Might actually work great Texas rig in the summertime. I'm going to try it this spring just to see if it's going to, you run it across the bed, you never know what you might get. But that one will be set up, is one of the larger ones for a Texas rig. And this one is a fluke with the middle taken out of it. It looks like a very small little green minnow. That one will be interesting. Then I have a small paddle tail with a lizard body. That will be very interesting. And then here's some of my Ned rig things. Just a little crappie with a little piece of worm. Different color worms I had just laying around. And I put these little crappie jigs on the end of them. I'm going to slap those on a Ned rig. And we're going to run them across the bottom near grassy areas. See what we can pull up. Another little worm. This could go on just several different things. This has a little tube at the end. So we're going to see how it does. And then another one, I took two little crappie jigs, jig worms, bodies, made them together and then put on a blue swim jig head. That one could get interesting. That can go on a Ned rig or a small jig. Another little black and blue with a little colored tail. I'm trying to use those for Ned rigs. And another small jig, a little fish head on a lizard body. And then my last one, this one's really Frankenstein. I just went nuts with this one. I've got a lizard tail, a fire and ice middle body. I took 2 little crappie jig baits, put on there a little piece of Shimano, Cinco, and then a lizard head. This one definitely will be interesting if I catch anything at all on this. They may look at that and just run, but we'll see. Well, leave me some likes and comments. Stop by my Instagram page, and or if you're watching this on Instagram, go to my YouTube page and subscribe. I need to get some followers going so I can start doing some challenges and some giveaways. So hit me up, let me know. Keep fishing out there.